Hello all, my name is Prabhakar. I am making a series of videos available to you to learn Amazon Web Services, and in this session I'm going to talk about AWS Elasticcache. Here is a content for today's session, brief about Elasticache and AWS Elasticcache, which supports two types of caches. One is a Redis cache and second one is a Memcached. I'm going to explain how to set up and I'm going to demonstrate how to set up and configure Redis cache and Memcached here. First of all, let's check that, okay, what is Elasticcache? So Amazon Elasticcache is a web service that makes easy to set up, manage, and scale a distributed in-memory data store or a cache environment in the cloud. And why we need Elasticcache here? So with the help of Elasticcache, it provides high performance, scalable, and cost-effective caching solutions. At the same time, it helps to remove the complexity associated and deploying and managing a distributed cache environment here. So so with the help of this Elasticcache here, so we can improve the performance and the scalability and reduce the cost of our existing solution. So why we need two types of cache here? So the Redis cache and Memcache here. So Redis cache, which actually supports distribute your data among the multiple nodes, and coming to the Memcache, so we can distribute our data among the multiple nodes. And the primary differences are Redis cache, we can take a snapshot of the data and then we can store it into the inside a disk. But coming to the Memcache, we can't take a snapshot of the data and store it into the disk. So Redis cache, which allows to execute a group of commands, and we can say make it as a one automatic operation and one isolated operation, and we can run it. But coming to the Memcache, we can't execute a group of commands as a single command. So we need to execute one by one command manually. So, and Redis cache, it doesn't have a native clustering. So Memcache, it supports a native clustering. We can create multiple clusters on that. And Redis cache, so we can store the bigger values. So, and this cache is nothing but we can store the key and value pairs. And Redis cache, in the values, I can store 512 MB per key. So it is very huge data, so that we can keep a huge data on the Redis cache. Coming to the Memcache, so the key size is very limited, so that each key up to we can keep 1 MB per key. And Redis is a powerful data types and powerful commands to leverage him. And we have store set and list and other data types also we can use it on it. But coming to the Memcached, and it is very fast, and it is recommended for the multi-threaded environments, and compared to the Redis cache, it is very faster. Now let's go to the lab. So in this lab, we are going to see how to set up and configure the Memcached. Let's go to AWS Management Console here. Here is my AWS Management Console, and click on the services, and go to Elasticcache. So as I said in my previous slide, so it supports two types of caches. One is the Redis cache and Memcached. So as of now, I don't have any cache systems here. And if you click on create and get started now, so it supports the two engines. One is the Redis cache and second one is Memcache. And Redis cache, it supports the cluster mode is enabled, so that I can keep multiple replicas here. So here I can see the replicas here. And if I go to the Memcache here, so it's a high performance and distributed memory object caching system. And it is moreover intended to the speed up the dynamic web applications. Okay. So both the caches, we can use it for the any type of application. It could be a gaming application, or it could be a web application, or it could be any real-time applications. We can use it so that it actually reduce the latency and it increase the performance. So I selected the Memcache here, and here I'm using it as the LAN Memcached. Okay, and the compatibility version, I have selected the latest one, and the port, it is a default port. So this port is very important because I'm trying to access this cache, Memcache from my EC2 instance, and whatever the security group I'm going to create for this Memcache, so I have to open the port 11211. So in order to access that, and one more point is that whatever the cache you are creating, this cache is accessible within the VPC and it is not accessible outside the VPC, same as for the Redis. So, and coming to the default, so I'm keeping it as the default values here, and the node type is very important here. So you go here and the node type. So here you can select that, okay, which kind of node is nothing but the EC2 instance, okay. So 30 GB RAM and then up to 10 GB of speed, and multiple missions are available here, like M524X large, okay, so which have 314 RAM and then 25 GB of network performance. So for this demo, I'm going ahead with the T2 micro instance. That is sufficient for me, and half GB memory and then low and moderate network speed. That is sufficient for the demo. And click on save. And the number of nodes, and I have one node is sufficient for me. Okay, so and subgroup, so I can specify the subgroup here is like memcache cache and like I can say sub. Okay, so to see, here is a subnet group, but it is recommended to first of all create a subnet group and then after come here and then choose that. But here I'm creating the subnet group runtime. Okay, and the VPC ID is this. Okay, so here you can select that. Okay, so at which of the availability zone you want to enable that. Okay, so and I'm creating it as US East 1A, and if I specify it as number of nodes equal to 7. So in this case, so I can run the 7 nodes at a time for the great availability. But for the demo purpose, I'm keeping it as a 1 node. So and I'm running it on in one availability zone, that is US East 1A. Okay, and so here the availability zones for the preference and the placement. So I can also select okay, my node is going to run into the specific zone, so I can also select that. Okay, my primary is going to run into US East 1A, and the node 1 I'm going to select, okay, no 1B, and node 2 is going to run into some other zones. So for example, if I want to run the 2 number of nodes here, like if I select a 2 or maybe 5 number of nodes here, okay, if I go down below here, it will allow me to select run my 5 nodes into the different zones. Okay, I can select the preference of the zones. Okay, so here if I enable that, okay, so here accordingly I can select that. Okay, so but for this demo, as I said, so I need one node is sufficient for me. I'm selecting the 1 node and I don't require any preference here. So okay, so system will decide which zone is applicable for that. And coming to the security group, it is a very important point here. So you can select the security group here, and I'm selecting the default security group here because so here it will not allow me to create any new security group here. So I'm selecting the default security group here. By default, it will not allow me to connect to the port 11211. So I will go to the security group and then later on, so and I will add this port for the inbound rule. And so maintenance, I don't require to do any maintenance and any other backup stuff here. Okay, create. So now I have created a memcached here, and it will take a couple of minutes to launch the instance. And by default, by that time, okay, by default, so if you see that, okay, so its status is creating, and it will take so more than 1 or 2 minutes. So by that time, I can go to the services and EC2 instance. I will create a EC2 instance. I will make it ready with the required dependencies installed on that machine. Okay, now go to EC2 instance and launch the instance. These are the steps, okay, how to create EC2 instance and how to select the image. Okay, these all points already covered in my previous sessions and with the complete EC2 tutorial, and I have specified a link in the below, so you can please go ahead and then watch that. Go to Ubuntu, and I'm selecting with the T2 micro. Next, and security group is not required for any additional configuration is not required for me. Go here, and the default storage is 8 GB, and the tags are optional. And the configuration group, okay, I'm opening it as by default, okay, TCP 22. so that I can take SSH of my EC2 instance and launch the instance. Okay, I'm selecting the public key which I have created initially. Okay, so and if you want, and you can go ahead and then create a new one also here. And now click launch an instance. Here is my instance. Okay, so by the time go to terminal. Okay, so here, so it will take a couple of seconds to launch the instance. Okay, so here is my instance and connected to instance. Okay, so there are two ways to connect it to the Redis. Okay, so I'm connecting to EC2 instance here, and my AWS keys are stored in this section. Okay, copy this command here. So sometimes it will 1 or 2 seconds. So it is trying to refuse the connection, and you can keep try on that. Okay, now connected to EC2 instance. And for connecting to your cache, okay, it could be a Redis cache or it could be a Memcache. There are two ways to connect that. One way is that via a Redis cache. So you can direct Redis cache is a tool. Okay, so if you go here, app get install and Redis. Okay, if I use this command, so that I can directly connect it to my Redis. Okay, so here I'm not going to use the Redis. I'm going to perform the operations on the Memcache. So for that, so I'm going to install a Telnet here. Okay, let's check that. Okay, whether the Telnet is already installed or not. Okay, Telnet is already installed on it. So let's wait for that. Okay, so we are going to access Memcached by using a Telnet. Okay, so like Telnet. And here I'm going to use the endpoint of my Memcached. Okay, and here I'm going to use the port. Okay, so this is the syntax for connecting to my Memcached, and even by using a telnet, I can also connect it to a Redis cache here. Okay, so now let's go to the previous window and then check that. Okay, so what is the status of activating Memcached here? Earlier status was creating. Go to Elasticache here, and the Memcached is one is creating, and you go there, and now its status is available, and it is up to date. So what you can do is you can click on the learn Memcached, and here is a node which I have created. And if I created 10 nodes, okay, 10 times the nodes are going to be available here. So I created only one node, so that's why so it is available here. Either you can go to the node and then you can copy the endpoint. And the second option is that either you can go to the description, and here also you can find the configuration endpoint here. This is also fine. You can go ahead and then copy this one, so that it will decide that, okay, which node is applicable for storing the data. And so if I want to perform any node specific operations, so that I can go here and then connect to that respective node only. So now go to the terminal. Okay, here is my copied command here. Okay, let me increase some font. Okay, so here and type telnet and followed by endpoint, and you can put a space and followed by port. And if I connect that, so it is trying to connect to the respective Memcached. Okay, so please wait for a couple of seconds. So here it was taking a long time to connect to that. So in this case, we can assume that, okay, here is a port. So as I said in my previous slide, so here I'm using a default security group here. Okay, so if we go to, this is my default security group, F35 and 3F2D1 is a default security group. So I have to enable the port 11211. So you can copy this port and go to the security groups. Okay, so here is my EC2 instance. Inside that EC2 instance, and here you can go to the security groups and where you can expose that port. Okay, here is my the default security group, and under that you can click on the inbound rules and edit the inbound rules. Okay, and add a new role. It is my custom TCP IP, and here is my port, and which can be accessed from anywhere. Okay, and then save the changes. So after doing the changes, now go to and the same EC2 instance console and click on run. Okay, now it is successfully connected. So this is how we can create a memcached, and so I expose the port in a required security group. So that's why I recommended, first of all, you create a security group by exposing the port. Okay, then you use that security group inside your memcached, and the same applicable for the Redis cache also. So if I want to perform any operations here, like if I say set, and my variable name is a name. Okay, so if I say name, and so here name, and here I'm putting some value, some of the time. So okay, at what time you are going to expire this entry. And if I say, and here I'm putting it as a 10. 10 is the length of the character, and if I press enter, so if I say Prabhakar and enter it, okay, and so if I say G, so now okay, so the chunk is invalid. Okay, so let's do one more thing. Okay, so I'm putting it as a name. Okay, so I want to store only 9 characters here. I can specify 9 characters and put the name. So it is stored successfully. So if I say get name, okay, so I can extract the values for that name. Similarly, I can put like, okay, city. So for this city, I'm going to store it as the city name. Like for example, if I store the city as a Pune, now it is successfully stored. Similarly, if I put it as my mobile number, okay, so I can specify it as a 10 entries here. Okay, like if I say, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So mobile number also stored. So at any point in time, so if I want to extract any one of the values, like if I go here, get, and so I need to extract the city. Okay, I can extract the city. I want to extract the mobile, I can extract it, and I want to extract the name, I can extract that. So this is how we can extract the data from the memcached, and also we can store that memcached. So as I explained in my slide, whatever the value I'm storing it here, that value size I can keep it up to 1 MB. But when it comes to Redis cache, so we can store up to 512 MB of key value. Okay, for every key value, I can store up to 512 MB of data on that. So and so I hope you enjoyed the video, and we come to end of this session, and I hope you get a chance to work on the memcached, and you can watch my previous video. So I have explained how to create a Redis cache and how to perform the operations on it. And thanks for watching this video, and I will see you in the next lab.